Hello survivors, and welcome to another video. In today's video we are back on the beta in Nordic Ashes because they have released the brand new realm Helheim, and this is a really cool realm, very interesting boss fights and very interesting elites and enemies. So there are going to be some enemies I'm going to talk about that are actually from the very demo of the game, and they've been removed and added back into the game now in Helheim. But first, let's have a look at Yggdrasil. This is the skill tree we're going for. Maxed out exploration besides for 99 gold. We've got everything in structures except for the obelisks. Practically everything in combat except for effective probability and status duration, as it doesn't affect the character we're going to be using, and we don't have the plus summons. And then we've got everything up to +2 in the healing over here. So we are nearly have enough leaves for the entirety of the skill tree. It's going to be really cool. We've still got 6, 12, 18, 24, 30 more leaves to get alone just from beating Helheim on everyone, and then there's all the leaves to get from completing Helheim enemies. And then as you can see, I've got a couple over here from the other levels still as well. So lots of leaves still to get. We are going to do it on Hansi. We're going to use, I really want to show you guys the crossbow. Deep Crystal is also pretty cool, so we are going to go with that. The reason I'm doing Deep Crystal as well is we don't want to kill things too quickly. Like Crimson Dagger is going to just annihilate this level, but with Deep Crystal at least I get to show you some of the mechanics that the bosses have, because although we do kill them very quickly, we don't kill them as quickly as if we were using the dagger. So I do just want to show that. One of the things though you do want to try and do is get as much crit as possible, because that's going to help you with Hod's amulet. Every time you crit, you deal more crit damage, but you do need to get those crits. I would love to use the Shadow Potion, but I mean Scarlet Potion, but it doesn't mention how much damage it says that you'll get. It says 100% will become damage. Does that mean that it says 50% of your critical chance you have above 100% will become damage? Does that mean I get 50 damage, or every percentage over 50 or over 100%, 50%? Oh, okay. So that means if I have like your stat in the corner over here, you see over there we've got 15% crit. If that stat goes over 100%, 50% of the number will become crit damage. So you're going to need a lot of crit. I think the best play for him, not being on Ragnarok or like on expert and all that, just, you know, for fun, the best thing to do would be to have a look at how much crit you're going to be getting with regards to, like, do you get the crit potion, what runes show up for you in the first shop, and things like that, and then you go for that. But you would have to wait for the first shop to see on what you can spend your money on before you decide whether or not you go for the amulet or for the potion. So that's what I'm going to do, just so we can demonstrate it and go from there. We do have a new elites. As you can see, we've got this like moth following us. This moth actually summons these little flame enemies you can see on the floor chasing us, which is really cool. So Helheim has a lot of new enemies that do new things. The first thing is they got summoning enemies, which is really cool. They also have I think they're supposed to be proximity enemies, but I don't think they're actually working properly. And the reason I'm saying this is actually because of the boss fight. So I don't know if they are or aren't working properly. It is something we got to just double check with the developers. Is this the way it is intended? You know, is it working as intended, or are we just being unlucky with that? Now over here we are going to re-roll until we get the damage and crit as our legendaries. Again, you do want the most amount of crit possible, and we do want the most amount of damage as well. There we go, damage and crit. And then we're going to ascend this one once just so that we can get the shadow pools. And then we're going to look at double ascending our crossbow just because we didn't actually land up getting our damage. Not damage, we didn't get the double ascension in the beginning of the game. So reroll over here. There we go. We're looking for the crit. We do want as much crit as possible again. Again, with the Scarlet Potion, just heading back to that, we also don't know if they're talking about the relics crit or if they are talking about the actual crit, overall crit of your character. So if there was a little bit of clarification there, that would be fantastic. Now, the one thing that you've seen me doing over here, you've seen me, what's been happening to me over here is we've actually been hit. When you are playing with Hansi, you don't want to get hit. And on a different side note completely, because you know my brain can't stick to one topic at all, we really need to appreciate like just how amazing this level looks. And I say this every time a new level is released, but you know, we really just we gotta appreciate it, guys. The developers do a fantastic job on level design and on ability design and animations. It's just really good. For a 3-man team, the amount of content in the game now from the beginning and the amount of effort and love they put into this game is just amazing. So again, just showing my appreciation for it. Also, I love this level, I gotta say, and that's being biased just because, one, I love the game, and also two, green is one of my favorite colors, and that is one of the main colors of this level. Obviously, it's not the, you know, the green that I adore and love. I like lime green, but this green is also really fantastic. So having those darker colors, the developers are also like, you know, there is that Vanaheim was your bright and lovely colors, and then Helheim, because it's like a darker level, is your dark and gloomy colors. So it does look a little more darker, but obviously the green does make it pop a lot more, so it's not so dull, which is really cool. Alright, so we did see an enemy earlier that had a circle around him. Here he is again as well. This doesn't do damage to us when we're around it, but that is the proxy enemy that I thought I was talking about. I really did think that it is a proximity enemy and that you had to be in the circle to deal damage to him, and that will make sense to you guys a bit later in the video and why I was thinking that, but I'm not gonna like ruin it for you. You are gonna have to watch the entire video to find out when and what I'm talking about. Ha. So please make sure you do watch everything, guys. There might be something I say that you could miss out on, and it could be really important. So you know, and I get told a lot that I have a really good voice, so you would think that people would want to listen to me talking. So if you are one of the people that think I have a fantastic voice, let me know down in the comment section. My personal opinion on it is that I've got a very... I myself don't actually like my own voice. It's quite weird. I know a lot of people, you know, you listen to yourself on a recording or through the phone and you're like, no, I don't sound like that. That's not me. And that's exactly how I feel about my own voice. I always felt like, you know, in my head, my voice sounds completely different to how I sound on video. So when people say to me, you know, you actually have a really nice and soothing voice, or, you know, I really like the voice, it's really cool, I'm like, whoa, you must be tripping, you know. I hate my voice. I don't understand how you guys can like it, but you do. So I'm eternally grateful for that. Just something stupid on the side note, you know. Talking about my voice while I'm talking to you guys and you're listening to my voice. Quite funny. Anyway, we're going to take the totem over here, and then we're going to grab this, some more crit, that's fantastic, some more damage over there. We do need to make sure we do get as much damage on these items as possible, because there is actually a damage check in this game, or in Helheim. We'll get to it when we get to the next elite fight as well, but there is a damage check in the game. Not the next elite fight, the next boss fight. We are going to talk about the first boss fight when we get to it, and we'll speak about the abilities. There is only one ability that I've noticed from this boss fight, Very similar to like the scavenger rat, he only had 2 abilities, his dash and then his stomp attack. So this is very much similar to that, the first boss fights. I think the reason they've done it like this is a lot of people have felt that the first boss fights in a lot of the realms have actually been a lot harder than the other boss fights. So I think the developers have like taken that into consideration, and they've made the very first boss fights a lot easier, and then they've gone and made the other 2 more difficult, because you should have been a lot stronger because of relics and levels. And that was just a really cool elite that we fought there, able to split into multiple other enemies. I can see this being on a Ragnarok difficulty being really difficult. Especially with like splitting enemies and the new power chance that allows enemies to duplicate as well. So imagine now this enemy and every single duplication of his duplicating even more, and then you just got way too many enemies and way too many duplications all over the place. So very interesting. It's going to be a really interesting enemy fight, as well as just a Ragnarok difficulty going forward. Unfortunately, the level has only got adventure mode, but here's the Moth Queen. We'll talk about the adventure mode quickly. The Moth Queen, as you can see, does a little dash, and that's the only attack I've noticed. The dash is in a hexagonal pattern, so as long as you stay within like the middle of the enemy, you're not going to get hit. It always does dash to the right hand side as well, so as long as you are within a certain area, actually it doesn't always dash to the right, it just dashes in the hexagonal depending on where it last landed. So now it should go to down in direction, but it didn't really matter because we killed it anyway. But that's the only attack that the enemy or the boss has, which is very interesting, for us to just get a look out on it as well. We do pick up that blue relic. We do have a greed here as well, so we're not going to worry about any crit runes. And because we're not going to worry about any crit runes, because we picked up the greed, that gives us our answer. We are going to go for the Hod's amulet over everything else. So that gave us a clear indication of where we need to go going forward. And then we are double ascending our shadow crossbow like we mentioned earlier. So grab spiral crossbows first and level that up to max, and then we can go and grab the full damage upgrade over here. We're not too worried about everything else. We should have plenty of damage to just complete the game now in totality, and it's just because it is on expert that we are able to do that. If it was on a harder difficulty, then maybe we would look at grabbing more things from the shop and more things like that. But we've got greed, that's all the damage we need. We've got our amulet. We now just need to pick up some of our passives. We have seen 1 or 2, but we did also get hit. So we need to just reapply our passive so that we can get the juicy crit that we need to ensure that every single hit that we do is going to be a crit on the enemies. Alright, crit wise, yeah, only 17%. We do need to, that's a rookie number, we really need to increase that number going forward. So anytime the game decides that it wants to give us our passive, that would be much appreciated. Money's good as well. I need to remember that every 5 seconds or so we can dash, and that's just going to put us closer towards our objectives of, grabbing gold and or grabbing our passives, and also not getting hit as well. So just got to make sure, there we go, we heard the little sound. If you hear it, it makes like a little dropping sound, and then a did, and then that is that your passive has dropped and that you can go and collect it quickly within the next couple of seconds. Also, if you can see, just pause here quickly, this enemy over here, there's also the purple enemy like this. These are the skulls that I was talking about earlier, or if I wasn't talking about them earlier, I'm going to talk about them now. Those skulls were original enemies from the demo release of this game. So if you are one of the OG players, like myself, when you played from the very inception of the game, well, I wasn't from the very beginning, but at least, I did play the demo. These were some of the enemies that were available on Midgard, these flaming skulls, and yeah, they got removed when the game had a couple of updates, and from there it became, well, one, a lot easier to finish Midgard, but also the enemies didn't fit the actual direction of where the game was going, you know, having different levels and different setups for each level and things like that. So they were removed. At least that's why I think they were. You know, I'm not one of the designers or developers of the game, so I can't actually speak for their intentions. But if I was, that would be my intention. And oh, this is our future plan. The enemies would make more sense in this area, so let's remove them from there and go to a different area because it would be better suited for their typing. So that's my thoughts and process, and that's why I say the things I do. But you know, you can let me know down in the comments if you were ever one of the OGs and you remember having to fight these skulls in the very beginning of the game when you originally played it as a demo. So way before even the early access and all of that stuff came out, we had those skulls as enemies. Alright, now at least our passive is dropping a lot absolutely everywhere, but now we are interested more in money. We do want as much money as possible, but we've got that maxed out now as well, so we don't really have to worry about that either. Oh, man, I can't. I just love the fact that everything in this, this level is green. I don't know if it's because of just being Helheim or if the developers just decided, you know, green's a really nice color. You know, obviously they have to think that. Who doesn't like green? Green is the most amazing color in the world. It's gender neutral, it just looks good, it's the color of trees which provide us with oxygen, and without oxygen we'd all be dead. So, you know, we got to really appreciate green as a color, you know, just because of everything that it gives us. Oh man, I'm so full of shit. But I gotta, you know, you gotta find ways to crack yourself up sometimes. Oh, on a different note that I didn't mention in the beginning, ladies and gentlemen, you really got to know this, but I hope you're all still watching because there is going to be a very special video on Sunday. We are going to be doing a little bit of an opening video. So I used to do openings of Pokemon cards and things like that on the channel. If that's something that interests you, if you like Pokemon, you can go look at the videos I used to do. But so I used to do a little setup. I don't show my face. Maybe I'll show it on Sunday during this, but I don't usually show my face. But I do have like the little phone stand and everything to do some videos of openings. But we received a package from Knoxfall Studios, the developers of Nordic Ashes. They have sent us a little package. I have not opened it yet. We are gonna open it all together on YouTube. It's not gonna be a live stream. It's just gonna be a little video that I do of us opening it. And yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about it. So keep your eyes peeled for Sunday's video of the opening of this package. Now, Nostrand the Custodian's a very interesting fight, right? He summons these orbs. They look like they summon other enemies on them, so he is like a little summoner. Now what happens is when you get him to a certain amount of life, like we just did, he starts to heal. Now I don't know if he's bugged and he keeps healing if you don't do enough damage, so you know I can't really show you on on Hansi because we just completely wreck his face. But when I was playing with what's his name, Axel, when I was playing on Axel Door and we did the enemy, I was playing with the burn build because, you know, I love green, so I was using Brawn Boots and the Iron Hammer, and we just weren't doing a lot of damage to him, and for some reason he just kept reapplying the heal. So that's why I mentioned earlier there is a damage check in the game. I think if you aren't able to kill him quickly enough, he does keep reapplying that heal, but otherwise he does summon enemies like we just saw. And his other attack is that if you stand on the orbs that summon the enemies, he does make them explode as well. So you'll see a whole bunch of red AoE circles appear on the floor, specifically around where you were standing, and then those orbs land up exploding and you are, you get caught up in a bunch of explosions if you're unlucky, or it's pretty easy to dodge those, so you don't have to worry too much about it. Let's just max out our skill tree over here, and then we're gonna go on to the final boss. I don't think there's anything for us over here. Maybe there's a twin blade for extra damage. This over here, we need to have at least one blue heart, which we do, so that's going to give us 25% increased damage, and our crits on 92%. So again, it really didn't justify us going for the shadow potion, because it's only 50% of everything over 100% crit chance, and because again it's not specifying whether it's your total crit chance or whether it's the crit chance of the relics, we just can't grab Scarlet Potion. It's not going to benefit us. So we really do have to just get the wording over there hopefully changed. We'll see what we can do. Obviously the developers do watch our videos as well, because I do bring up points like this, and it's a lot easier than them trying to work it out on their own. We can grab the helmet over here, Aegis helmet for 7 skill points. That's fantastic. I haven't even really been looking at what much of the altars have for us. Hansi doesn't really need a lot from the altars. We could grab a green heart over here. Do we have enough space for it? We've only got 10. Yeah, we can grab it. We'll give ourselves 15% additional cooldown reduction over there. It's nothing major, but 15% is 15%. If you had like a 10-second cooldown, you now got an 8.5-second cooldown, so it does help, it does make a difference. Let's see, we don't really need XP, we don't really need anything, so we don't have to do the Raid Shrine over there. There's nothing really that's going to come out of it that brings us anything. We don't use those poison charms or anything like that because we deal physical damage. It would be cool if we could get like how Thara has her damage. She has a 15% chance to deal poison damage on all of her damage as a relic. It would be cool if there was a relic that you could pick up that does that for maybe either darkness for other characters or for just each of the elements that are in the game right now, so that we could make an enemy or a specific relic a different typing, because especially for darkness typing, which is everything that Hansi has, there's absolutely nothing in the game relic wise that's going to increase the damage we deal besides for his own constellation relics and the actual damage relics like the last breath that we picked up, or the health relics that the blue crystal where we deal more damage, or the mushrooms or greed. They all just actual percentage damage increases, whereas the other characters can at least pick up the burning damage, the poison damage and things like that, or electric damage for every character like Halfgrim or Axel, poison damage for Thara, and then the burning damage for everyone else, because they've got that. And even Amaranth is both poison and burn damage, whereas our dear friend Hansi here has just got plain old physical damage, which absolutely everyone can use. Now we've got Hell, the final boss. What we're going to do is just move away so we don't kill them too quickly. But what they do is, whoa, that's actually, I've never seen that before. Again, green attacks, fantastic. I love green attacks. Now, what I mentioned about the enemy earlier is the proximity shields. And the reason I said that is because of this fight. As you can see, even though we are hitting this tower, we cannot destroy it until we walk in the circle. You are able to destroy the one tower. As long as you're in the circle, you'll be able to hit all of the towers. You don't have to be like in the specific circle for that specific tower. As long as you are in a circle, nonetheless, you will be able to, destroy the tower itself. But the proximity over there, that's why I did think that the elite fight would have that as well, but it turns out it doesn't. But, we're taking this a bit slow. You do get to see all the attacks of Hell. And there we go, 10 free leaves. A little bit of 22 minutes over there, but no problem whatsoever. Shadow crossbow with a huge amount of 8 million damage. And as you can see, 0 burn and 0 poison, because we do shadow darkness damage, and there's no relics for darkness. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this in the future. And always remember, keep safe, survivors. Until next time, cheers.